The day began just like any other. I woke up to the soft hum of city life outside my apartment window. Cars rushing past, neighbors chatting, and the faint aroma of freshly brewed coffee drifting through the air. It was a Tuesday morning, and I was ready to face another day at my quiet job at the local library. Though the work wasn't exciting, I liked the calm atmosphere and the smell of old books. It was a place where I felt at ease, and for someone who preferred routine, that was perfect. After getting dressed, I decided to stop by the small cafe across the street to grab my usual morning coffee. The barista knew me by name and had my order ready before I reached the counter. A small black coffee, no sugar. I took my cup and scanned the room for a place to sit. That's when I noticed two men at a corner table, leaning in close and speaking in hushed tones. Something about their serious faces and nervous glances around the cafe caught my attention. I tried to focus on my phone, but their words drifted to me, faint but clear enough to pull me in. "If this gets out, everything will collapse. No one can know," said one man, his voice barely above a whisper. The chill that ran down my spine surprised me. What were they talking about? I wanted to look away, to leave before I got involved, but curiosity held me there like a magnet. The other man leaned closer and said, "The documents are hidden in the old warehouse on 5th Street. We have to get them before anyone else does." My heart skipped a beat. Documents? Warehouse? The words painted a picture of something secretive and dangerous. I swallowed hard, trying not to make a sound. The first man's next sentence caught me off guard. "If Parker finds out, it'll be the end for all of us." I knew that name, Mr. Parker. He was the CEO of a big company in town, one recently rumored to be involved in some shady business. But no one had proof, only whispers and rumors. Now, suddenly, I was hearing a secret no one was supposed to know. I took a slow sip of my coffee, trying to steady my breathing. The men's conversation grew more urgent, their voices dropping even lower. "We can't trust anyone, not the police, not the press, only us." The cafe felt colder all of a sudden. I wondered if I should tell someone, anyone. But what if I was wrong? What if it was just a misunderstanding or paranoia? And what if by knowing this secret, I put myself in danger? As I turned to leave, the men's voices faded behind me, but their words clung to my mind. I walked back into the bustling street, pretending to be just another passerby. But inside, I felt the world shifting beneath my feet. That morning, something ordinary became the start of something I could never have imagined. A secret overheard by accident had pulled me into a hidden world of danger and mystery, and there was no turning back. After that morning at the cafe, the secret I had stumbled upon felt like a heavy stone pressing down on my chest. Each time I closed my eyes, I could hear the men's hushed voices echoing in my mind. Hidden documents, the warehouse, Mr. Parker, and a warning that everything would collapse if the truth came out. It was like carrying a dangerous secret that I wasn't sure how to handle. At work, the quiet aisles of the library usually calmed me, but today they only made my thoughts louder. Every creak of the floorboards, every rustle of pages seemed magnified. I found it difficult to concentrate as I shelved books and helped visitors, my eyes constantly darting to the door, wondering if someone was watching me. I knew I couldn't keep this secret to myself forever. The fear of what might happen if I told someone was as strong as the guilt I felt for staying silent. Should I call the police? But what if they were involved? The men's words about not trusting anyone echoed in my head. I felt trapped in a web of suspicion and doubt. That evening, I sat at my kitchen table, laptop open, and began to research Mr. Parker. The news articles were filled with vague accusations and rumors about financial fraud and corporate scandals, but nothing concrete had ever been proven. The thought that there might be hidden evidence in a dusty old warehouse made the whole case feel far more real and dangerous. I debated telling my best friend Lisa, but fear gripped me again. What if sharing the secret put her in harm's way? Could I trust her? Our friendship was strong, but this was different. This was serious. The next day, the black car I had noticed the evening before was parked near the library again. My stomach tightened every time I saw it. I caught glimpses of a man inside, his eyes cold and calculating. Was he watching me? Had they discovered I had overheard something? I started writing everything down, every detail I remembered from the conversation, every strange thing I noticed around me. It was my way of making sense of the chaos. I even started carrying my phone in my pocket, ready to call for help if needed. Late that night, just as I was about to close my eyes, my phone buzzed. A message appeared on the screen, but there was no name attached. "Stop digging or you'll regret it." My heart pounded. The warning was clear, and it sent a chill through me. I realized then that I was no longer just a bystander. I was part of something much bigger, something dangerous. The secret I overheard wasn't just gossip or paranoia. It was real, and it was putting me in the crosshairs. Despite the fear, a part of me knew I couldn't back down. The truth was out there, buried beneath layers of lies and silence. And somehow I had to find a way to bring it into the light, before it was too late. The days that followed were a tense blur. Every morning I woke up with a knot in my stomach. Every night I lay awake wondering if I was being watched. The secret I had overheard was no longer just a whisper in a cafe. It had become a shadow hanging over my life. I felt trapped between the urge to uncover the truth and the fear of what might happen if I did. The black car was a constant presence now. I saw it parked down my street, outside the grocery store, even near the library. Sometimes, a dark figure sat inside, watching. I became hyper-aware of my surroundings, walking faster, avoiding eye contact, changing my usual routes. My small apartment, once a sanctuary, now felt like a cage. One evening, after work, I made a decision. If the documents really existed, if they were the key to exposing the corruption behind Mr. Parker's empire, I needed to find them. I couldn't just wait for someone else to solve the mystery. I was the only one who knew where to look. The old warehouse on 5th Street was a forgotten place, run down and abandoned, covered in graffiti and shadows. No one went near it unless they had a reason. I felt a shiver run down my spine as I approached, clutching my phone in one hand and a small flashlight in the other. The rusty gates creaked as I pushed them open and slipped inside. The air was thick with dust and silence, broken only by the occasional drip of water from the ceiling. My footsteps echoed as I moved deeper into the building, eyes scanning for any sign of the hidden documents. Near the back, I found a stack of old crates covered with tarps. My heart pounded as I pulled one aside, revealing a loose floorboard beneath. Kneeling down, I lifted it carefully, revealing a small metal box beneath the floor. With trembling hands, I opened the box. Inside were files, photographs, and papers, the evidence. The proof I had been looking for. I took pictures with my phone, knowing that these documents could bring down powerful people. Suddenly, I heard footsteps, soft but fast. My heart stopped. I quickly hid behind a stack of crates, clutching the metal box. 2 men appeared, their voices low but urgent as they searched the warehouse. They were looking for the same thing I had just found. I held my breath, hoping they wouldn't find me. The minutes felt like hours. When they finally left, I slipped out of the warehouse, heart racing, clutching the box tightly. I knew now I had something dangerous, and that the men who wanted it were willing to do anything to keep it secret. Outside, the night air was cold against my face, but I felt alive with purpose. The secret I overheard was no longer just a threat. It was a mission, and I was in the middle of it. The next morning, I sat at my kitchen table, staring at the photos on my phone. The files I had found in the warehouse were far more than just papers. They were a web of secrets, proof of corruption, lies, and cover-ups linked to Mr. Parker's company. I knew I couldn't handle this alone. Lisa was the first person I thought of. She was my best friend, someone I trusted completely. I invited her over that afternoon, trying to keep my voice steady as I showed her the images. Her eyes grew wide as she scrolled through the documents. This is huge, she whispered, looking up at me. You have to tell someone. The police, maybe? I shook my head. What if they're involved? The men I overheard said we couldn't trust anyone, not the police, not the press. If we go to the wrong people, it could all disappear, or worse, they could come after us. Lisa bit her lip thoughtfully. We need someone who's not afraid to dig deep, someone who can protect you. That night, we reached out to Marcus, a local investigative journalist with a reputation for uncovering scandals involving powerful people. He was cautious at first, but agreed to meet us after work. When Marcus arrived, he listened carefully, asked questions, and reviewed the photos. This is solid evidence, he said quietly. If it's real, it could blow the whole case wide open. But you have to be careful. People like Parker don't give up their secrets easily. Meanwhile, the black car had reappeared, parked near my apartment once again. I spotted the same cold-eyed man sitting inside, watching. Every day, I felt more like prey than a normal person. I began avoiding going out alone, and Lisa often accompanied me. One evening, after a particularly tense day, I found a note slipped under my door. In bold, threatening letters, it said, "Stop or else." My hands trembled as I read it. The threats were no longer vague warnings. They were personal. But instead of backing down, something inside me hardened. I realized I couldn't let fear control me. The truth had to come out, no matter the cost. And with Lisa and Marcus by my side, I wasn't alone. Together, we planned our next steps carefully. Marcus promised to publish the story safely and anonymously to protect me. Lisa kept watch and helped me stay grounded. The secret I had overheard was no longer just a burden. It was a call to action. I had stepped into a dangerous game with powerful enemies, but I had also found unexpected allies. I was ready to fight for the truth, even if it meant risking everything. The day the story broke, I barely dared to breathe. Early that morning, Marcus's report went live online and on the evening news. The details were shocking, proof of hidden documents, corruption at the highest levels, and Mr. Parker's involvement. The city was buzzing with disbelief and outrage. The secret I had overheard was finally out in the open. I watched the news in my small apartment, the screen casting a soft glow in the dark room. I stayed anonymous, but the reporters thanked an unnamed whistleblower, me. There was a sense of relief, but also a lingering fear that it wasn't over yet. The black car was gone. The threatening messages stopped. For the first time in weeks, I felt safe enough to step outside without looking over my shoulder. Lisa and I went for coffee, laughing quietly as if waking from a long nightmare. Marcus kept in touch, making sure the investigation stayed alive and that my identity remained protected. The police reopened the case, and the evidence sparked a wave of arrests and resignations. Mr. Parker was under intense scrutiny, and the company's future was uncertain. It was a hard-fought victory, but justice was finally moving forward. Through it all, I realized how much I had changed. The quiet life I once wanted seemed distant now. I had stepped into a world of secrets, danger, and courage, and I had come out stronger. Looking back, I knew that overhearing that conversation was no accident. It was a turning point, a moment that forced me to face fear and find bravery I never knew I had. And though the secret was no longer hidden, the memory of that day, the day I overheard a conversation meant to stay secret, would stay with me forever.